Sacredness. Who believes they hold themselves in a space of sacredness? A space of sacredness. Do you have a place of sacredness within you? Do you have a sacred place within you? Can you sense that sacred place within you? Somewhere within that you keep pure and you don't let anyone else access. Even in the most intimate of relationships, that place that you've kept pristine within yourself. You have such a place? It's a part of your energy matrix which ultimately miniaturizes to the seed atoms that are talked about in between incarnations to store the information acquired on different levels to continue the karmic lessons along the soul line, and the genetic track forms this sacred place within, which can only be accessed through the Merkaba, through the agency of the spirit self, the spiritual I, the monad. So the soul, the ego, the personality is not able to access or corrupt that. A sacred place within you. A place within you which is pristine, which is perfectly pure in its vibration, with no distortion, with no dissonance, no corruption, no interference, no distortion, no interference. That's that place within you. If you allow yourself, and you're able to allow yourself, so it depends on how much you've worked with surrender and all those goddess qualities that we talk so much about in the CD integration series. If you can allow yourself to experience that pristine place within you, there's a spot within you where it is pristine in its vibration, free of interference, free of distortion, free of contamination by fear. If you could imagine that point within you a little like a plug hole in a bathtub, and your entire four-body system imploding down through that spot, like water going down through a plug hole. And then as you allow that to occur, then the sacred place explodes into a sacred space all around you. It begins to act as a lens, which is a purifying lens. And your energy then is emanated outwardly into that which is considered to be other within this realm of matter through the lens of that pristine. This is a very difficult tension to maintain and hold. It takes an incredible focus on your intention. In order to be able to hold that sacred space, rather than it being a localized place, in order to extrapolate it, to expand it, to radiate it out into a sacred space, you must have completely transcended any desire to wound. Any desire to wound. Any desire for retribution. any desire for revenge must be transcended, because all of that's born out of self-righteousness. I'm right and you're wrong, and I'm going to get you for being wrong. Unless you can completely transcend that whole revenge, self-righteousness, retribution. Revenge, self-righteousness, retribution. Revenge, self-righteousness, retribution. Revenge, self-righteousness, retribution. Like guilt, blame and forgiveness. It's another one of those things which goes round and round and round and round and round until you transcend that. So I've worked a lot with you to move beyond guilt, blame and forgiveness. I want you to also start exploring the dynamic of self-righteousness, revenge, retribution. Can you, in this particular moment, find some self-righteousness within you? Find some self-righteousness within you and really acknowledge that and honour that self-righteousness. And from that self-righteousness, get a sense of someone or something that you feel justified, righteous in seeking revenge upon. You want retribution for something which wasn't fair. Something which was done to you, which wasn't fair.
Doesn't that be the same thing we're feeling self-righteous about?
It will all stem from the same central cluster. Something that you feel that it's only fair that you receive your just retribution. See, that whole idea contaminates another Christ quality, which is justice. You know what justice really is? It's got nothing to do with self-righteousness. What justice really is the uncontaminated outplay of the laws of God, the laws of nature, which are actually the same thing. When the laws of nature, which are designed to maintain health and harmony, are able to operate without the contamination of fear upon levels which were not designed to be imprinted with fear, then you have this state which is called justice. Justice without self-righteousness. Justice without right and wrong. Now that is also a very, very difficult tension to maintain within yourself. So I want to encourage you, and I'm going to be working with you in future moments, to really transcend, to move beyond the desire for revenge, the desire for retribution, and to totally move beyond this rather childish idea of what is fair and what is not fair. Now, as you do that, you will find that this sacred place within you is able to manifest as a sacred space through which you move, through in you exist, and throughout you move your consciousness within the experience of your day-to-day living. And when you're able to master that tension, when you're able to hold that, when you're truly able to be that, you're able to hold a point of tension that the masters call sacredness. That's the mechanics of it. That's the engineer in me again, going through the mechanics of what actually produces or what actually denies the possibility of sacredness existing. So you've got to get rid of the guilt, blame, forgiveness thing, and you've also got to get rid of this whole sense of self-righteousness, fair play. See, when you start to transcend right and wrong, you move out of that. The next thing is, you know how you sort of move from really conditional love to slightly conditional love to unconditional love, and then through all the higher harmonics. The phenomena of the whole experience of right and wrong, that really judgmental aspect, you sort of move from right and wrong then into this idea of fair play. right, which is a little bit more of a pure vibration. What's fair and what's not fair. It's not fair to Gaia that she's being raped and pillaged. It's not fair to this, it's not fair to that. That's not fair. I'm a light worker, that's not fair. This isn't fair. You've got to really move beyond that. How do you transcend that next level of duality? You transcend that transitional level of duality by moving beyond the idea of fair play, and the mechanism that operates underlying that sense of fair play is this idea of self-righteousness, revenge and retribution. An endless, so one of those alchemical doorways that you have to move through. So when you really work on that and really become aware of that operating in your life, you're able to move into this sense of sacredness. Only when you're able to hold that sense of sacredness, Kim, I need you. Kim has this wonderful relationship with the nature spirits and the energies of the land, and I've been working with the land with Kim with the whole Cosmosis thing, and the energies just absolutely love him because he has this complete lack of judgment or self-righteousness associated with his relationship with the natural energies. He genuinely sees and perceives himself to be simply part of the natural order, and within that, when he relates with the natural energies, be it the plant kingdom or the mineral kingdom, he has this beautiful sympathetic interplay with his energy where there is a complete absence of judgment of nature. He's moved beyond that self-righteous idea of feeling that human beings need to be punished for what they're doing to the environment and such thing, that whole idea of polarized activism. So although he loves Gaia, he's able to do that without judgment, without self-righteousness, so without any revenge or retribution coming into it, and therefore the energies just love him and love to work with him. So when we see an old-growth forest which has been recently logged, bulldozers have just left. Have you actually just seen a forest that's just been logged, what that actually looks like? I don't know what you see, but when Kim and I look at that forest that's just been logged, we see exquisite beauty. Because you get what you put out, right? So if you see that and see it as horrible and scarred, and guess what you're creating for Gaia? More horrible, scarred landscapes. Good on you guys. Great work as light workers. That's what you're creating for her. With the ferocity of someone with an activated light body, you are projecting and creating a future reality for Gaia of a horrible, scarred landscape. Thanks very much. We greatly appreciate your efforts and we honour your learning. What Kim and I see when we see what you might consider to be a horrible, scarred landscape is the most beautiful, exquisite, pristine, wondrous forest, perfectly in balance with all of the kingdoms. And although our heart breaks and we feel the pain of the natural energies, we also see that landscape in a complete, pristine, exquisite, beautiful situation. Because that means that that's what that will be. As soon as possible, won't it? As soon as possible.
Do you see that through your intention?
I choose to see it like that.
Yeah.
I know that it will be that. And I hold that as an eventuality. Kim and I have just reached that point where no matter what we see, we don't judge it and we just go, well, I hold an eventuality that this is pristine. And so a possible future, and you draw that possible future here and you imprint it right here. So that regeneration starts instantly. We take these places which are being judged for the destruction and the whatever, and we hold the vision of the pristine. and we re-imprint into the Akasha that eventuality of harmony and beauty. The key to what Kim shared was beauty, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Everywhere you go, you see beauty. Because if you don't see beauty, Gaia's going to get more not beauty. But what she wants is beauty. So everywhere you go, you see beauty.
I felt I went through being sort of the activist and ecological sabotage and all that kind of thing, and did some whole bunch of stuff years ago. Don't do that anymore. And sort of seeing a hillside of sort of clear-felled forest did all sorts of things to me, and still does. But what I see when I look down there is kind of like you look right down at the soil and see what the moss is doing, and see the seed germinating, and just see this amazing life force just kind of coming up through the timber that's kind of creating a shelter for that seed to germinate, because there aren't any trees around to sort of buffer it from the wind. And it's kind of like, well, it's actually it's not even in potential, it's right there. Like if you look carefully, you might not be seeing it that high, but you might be seeing it that high or that big. But it's all the same thing.
Half empty or half full.
Shifting your focus and not seeing what isn't, but seeing the little ones that are now growing. You know, that weren't in the sun before, that now they are, and just like all of
the
that.
incredible interplay in kind of like a square inch of soil.
And knowing what it will be. And not accepting any alternative. Knowing that this will be pristine. And knowing that this will be helped. And knowing that this is beauty.
But you still felt your pain. You still felt the pain.
But I didn't feel judgment. No, I don't feel pain, because I don't take it personally. But I feel her pain.
Okay.
I feel her pain, and I love and honour her pain, like Sion talked about in his talk. You invite wherever there's an area of disease, you invite a little bit of energy, of pristine, healthy energy from everywhere else to come to the point of disease, right, to congregate there. So that's really the process that Kim and I use when we work with the land. We're looking at that landscape, which has been, some might say is scarred or destroyed or whatever, but that's not what we're seeing. We're seeing it as beautiful and in a state of harmony, and it's already happening. The biodiversity is there, and so if you see it as scarred, what Kim talked about, the moss and the little things already starting to take its place. If you just come along then and see it as scarred and have a huge reaction, okay, where's that energy go? To that moss and those little plants which are trying, and you'll kill those plants, won't they?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So you hold on to the judgment. Not only has it already been, or the timber's already been cut down, you, with your judgment, are killing Gaia's attempt to regenerate her body. Good on you guys. See, so you've got to really understand this, because the propaganda you've been fed causes you to be part of the problem. So you have to be honestly aware. You have to be honestly aware, okay? So to move away, because you're so charged about the environment, you're not seeing. So we'll go to a different analogy. You sprain your ankle, all right? Has everyone sprained their ankle at some stage? Yeah? So it makes it somewhat difficult to walk, right? So you need to be really honestly aware of that sprained ankle. But you focus on the healing process, right? You don't focus on the fact that your ankle's sprained. You focus on the ankle being pristine. You focus on the ankle being perfectly operational, yet you are honestly aware of the need to assist that healing process by not overstressing the ankle. You see the delicate balance involved there? But if you focus on the ankle being defective, even when it's healed, it won't ever be right again. Have you ever experienced that sort of thing? Does that make sense? Does that shift the perspective a little bit? Have you got anything you want to add to that? As a naturopath, as a healer?
I sort of go back to the stump thing.
Okay.
Trees fall down anyway. I mean, and it's a stump, and it used to have a tall thing on it, and it fell down, and it's not there anymore. And if there's no judgment, it's no issue.
It's not a right or a wrong anything. However, there's choices and consequences. Every choice has certain consequences. So that's also part of the transcension of the whole right and wrong thing. Ultimately, you've just got to move beyond right and wrong, and you've got to move beyond the retribution, revenge, self-righteousness thing, and move into it's just choices and consequences. It's just choices and consequences. So it's not right or wrong. None of it's right or wrong, but every choice has a consequence. It's not right to be on the VEA ascension path, right? It's not wrong to be on another path. Every choice that you make has a particular outcome. Every choice has a consequence. So if you go on the VA ascension path of integrated heart mastery, you will achieve a certain result. But that result is not wrong or right or better or worse than anything else. It's just a choice. And part of mastery is deciding how your future is going to manifest and making the choices which are going to ensure that that future manifests. Making the choices that make sure that the planet is covered with pristine forests, and not doubting that that is a possibility.
So Michael, writing to your local government about to say please don't continue with the logging, you know, that'd be our preference. If it's done, is that like pulling up your negative ego and saying, well look, I don't want, it's like, I love you but bugger off, you know?
Depends on your intention, Rupert. Writing to politicians about this or that, ever stating your preference, okay. It's easy. You get a petition of 5,000 people and send it to your local politician and say, if you do this, we will not vote for you. If you do this, we will vote for you. That's all you ever do when you approach a politician. That's all they're interested in, okay? You say, if you do this, we'll vote for you. If you don't do this, we won't vote for you. The whole thing about democracy is it's built up as representatives to serve the will of the people. So the will of the people must be real, demonstrated and expressed. Tell the politicians what you want. Organise large petitions of people who say, if you do this, we will vote for you. If you don't do this, we will not vote for you. Be very clear on the choice. Show them the choice, right? And then they add up the numbers and they go, okay, well, if I do this, then this amount of people will vote for me. That's the way they formulate policies. That's the way democracy works. That's the way it's intended to work. It's pure and simple. Honestly, it's no more complicated than that.